And now it's time to air our dirty laundry, at least talk about our dirty laundry. Consumer man Herb Weisman, contributing editor at checkbook.org, is here to share advice on laundry, from the best ways to get clothes clean to saving money on those fancy detergents. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So I know you're all about saving consumers time and money, which is so important. You recently checked in with people at Consumer Reports who tested laundry products.
Yep.
Please tell me more.
Well, Consumer Reports takes this very, very seriously. I've been back at their labs in Yonkers, New York, and everything is scientific. There's meters to make sure that the temperature of the water that goes in every machine, and they're all the same machines in a row, is the same. They measure the laundry detergent that goes in. They weigh the fabric swatches that go in, that they're all the same amount of weight, and the stain that goes on is exact. If it's 3 drops of mustard, it's 3 drops of mustard. So this is all very scientific, and all the information I'm going to give you is based on all the testing that Consumer Reports does.
Ooh, so I want to get right into
Okay.
it to see how consumers, of course, can benefit from all this.
Right.
When it comes to sorting clothes, what have you discovered?
Well, what do you do?
Well,
Lights and darts?
No.
Nothing?
I just wash everything in cold water a
okay.
lot of times and then hang dry.
Okay.
So I don't really mess with
All
that.
right. Well,
I know it's bad.
Well, no, it's not. We were always told light and dark.
I know.
But the Consumer Report says the other thing to think about is the weight of the material. So if you put some T-shirts with a bunch of towels, the machine isn't going to know what to do because it's got heavy and light, and the towels are going to beat up the T-shirts. Same thing with the dryer. The T-shirts will be dry, the towels will still be wet. The sensors are going to get confused. So they suggest, and I've started doing this now, I put all the towels together and I put the lighter stuff together.
Yeah.
And if you feel like with the Color Fast today, it's not really a big deal, lights and darks. Although I did, when I first got married, had pink underwear for a while because a red top was put in with the white underwear. So you got to be careful. But it's more the weight and you know, that way. And old washers can jiggle so much, it's called dancing, that they can pull themselves out of the wall. They can pull so you got to be careful.
I've been there in my old apartment.
Okay.
I've lived that life.
Right.
Let's talk laundry detergents too. There's powder, there's liquid, there's pods. What did the testing show? Is there one that's
and
better?
sheets.
Oh,
Powders,
yes, you're
pods,
right.
liquids, and sheets.
Yeah.
Okay. Consumer Reports testing found that the liquids and the pods were the best. Mm-hmm. The laundry sheets, some of them did so poorly that they didn't do any better than plain water.
Stop.
Okay. And you use sheets, don't you?
I have, but I also didn't feel like I got that nice smell like that of like clean clothes. I was like, did that even work?
Oh, well, we're a fragrance-free family because my wife hates we buy all clear or whatever. But so that's the way to go. And then you have to also consider with pods the whole issue of microplastics. We're very environmentally conscious out here in the Northwest, obviously. So that's why we go with the liquid detergents. But liquid or pods are the two that clean the best.
Okay, I love all these tips. We always tend to think too that more is better. So sometimes I'm really filling in that detergent. I feel like if it's going to be a hard wash with some towels, no.
Well, you could maybe do a little bit more than what there are. If you look on the measuring thing, it gives you ranges. But if you go more than that, you're going to have so much soap in your washing machine that it's going to have residue, and it's going to make it's going to be counterintuitive. So try what they recommend, and if it's a really dirty wash, maybe a touch more, but don't go crazy with it. Yes, you can use too much laundry detergent.
I'm learning so much.
You can never have
today.
too much money, but you can use too much laundry detergent.
Oh, who knew that there were so many tips with laundry that no one really taught me growing up? What about the water temperature? Hot water, does that clean better than cold water?
You say you do yours in cold.
I do.
Which is just fine.
Is it?
And a lot of people, most people I talk to don't. In the old days, you probably had to use hot water.
I did growing up, yeah, but I switched.
But all the detergents have been reformulated to work in cold water because of the energy savings that's involved with that. And Consumer Reports does all their testing with cool water. So yes, you can get just as clean with cool water as hot water. Save the energy. Don't use hot water. If you're disinfecting, somebody's got a cold, the flu in the house, you might want to do a hot load just to sanitize, whatever. But nope, you don't have to do that.
Gosh, okay, so don't use extra laundry detergent, doesn't matter.
No need to use hot water.
Hot water, not really needed. Another question, what about adding a fabric softener to make those clothes smell really soft and springtime fresh, even though I know your wife doesn't need any of those fragrances?
Consumer Reports is not really big with fabric softeners, adding fabric softeners. It can reduce the flammability for children's clothing sometimes, and it adds a smell which some people like and don't like, and they say they just don't like it. They say it's not worth the money, it's not worth doing, so they're not really big on fabric softeners whatsoever. So
I guess save your money in that way.
There you go.
Dryer sheets, though. I use this all the time.
Right. They don't like that either.
They don't like it either.
No, because it can leave residue on the clothes, but it can also clog up the sensor that's in the dryer, the automatic sensor. So you have to, if you're doing that, you have to clean it very often. They say, and if you're worried about static or whatever, there's these things called wool balls. You can put them in, and they bounce around with the clothing and keep them separated, and that can keep them fluffy without the smell, without the problem of getting the sensors gummed up in the dryer.
Gosh, so again, maybe I could be saving money if I just stopped buying all these sheets. Definitely not the laundry sheets.
Okay.
Those are out. I want to talk about stains. This a lot of people deal with too. Pacific Northwest, kids running in puddles. Do stain removers work, or is it all just brand hype?
No, stain removers work, but Consumer Reports testing shows they don't work any better than a good quality detergent if you were to rub some detergent into the stain. So if you had a stain on the clothing, you rub some detergent in, you let it sit there for a while, and then wash it. Here's the key with stains. Treat them as quickly as possible. Like if it's there, get the gunk off and treat it. And then second of all, if when you're done the wash, it's not out, do it again. Either do it in the sink or do it in the wash again, because once you put it in the dryer, the stain sets and you're never going to get it out. So it may take you a couple of times to do it. So there's nothing wrong with the stain sprays and stuff. And again, if you're using a powder or something else, you have to use that. If you're using a pod, you have to use that. But a good detergent works just as well.
Okay, I didn't know that. I did know, though, you got to make sure you treat it right away and then don't put it in the dryer because it just sets and game over.
Yep.
Are there any things that we shouldn't put in the washing machine other than garments that need to go to the dry cleaner?
Yes, and make sure your cat doesn't get in there. That's really important.
That's true. We just talked about our beloved pets, too.
We lost our cat once in the house. My wife looked in the washing machine. He's not in there, trust me.
But he was okay.
He was okay. He was just fine.
Yes.
They suggest not putting athletic hats, baseball hats in. It can, you can just ruin them. Even if you put in that frame, the glue, the bonding, and they say don't put athletic shoes, sneakers, running shoes in there.
That was going to be my question because I've done that before.
So they say spot treat them is much better than putting them in the washing machine.
Oh, and I guess maybe like hand wash? Is it because it's just maybe like bouncing around too much?
It's the adhesive that is used, so they say be careful with that. So,
okay, where can people find out more for you?
Go to checkbook.org. That is where all my articles are. I also have my own website, by the way, consumerman.com. And if you go there, and you can write me a note or talk to me, but all my stories are on either consumerman.com or checkbook.org, which is the nonprofit that I work for. Great organization. We don't take any advertising. We just tell it like it is, and it's a really great resource. And it's free.
You are amazing. I learned so much today. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all of your tips.
And thanks for sharing your dirty laundry.
You're welcome. Thanks for spending time with us today. For more New Day fun, subscribe on YouTube and be sure to download King 5 Plus for free. Don't forget to enjoy your new day, and we'll see you next time.